Hi everyone, Bonsai Northwest exhibition in Melbourne is on again this year on the 29th and 30th of April 2023. Hope to see you all there. Lots of trees on display, heaps of trees on for sale, and look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.
G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Bonsai Works. I'm David. Today I've got two little Shimpakus of mine that need to be cleaned up. Really quite nice little trees, not showing size, the next size up, chewing I think. This is a lovely little fat Shimpaku with lots of foliage. I mean, it looks like just a ball of foliage. Not the best. You want to have it defined, a bit of cleaning up, defining and so on. This one's a bit more traditional kind of looking tree. Got some nice padding going, but it looks unkept as well. So today's about cleaning out the dead bits, cleaning out yellow bits, cleaning up the underneath, cleaning up the crotch growth. Very simple things, but hopefully it shows you how much a tree can improve with just some small little things. With trees, with bonsai, it's continuous improvement, continually doing something to your tree. Not too much, but continually keeping it good. Don't leave these for 2 years or a year. Come back to them after, done some work after 3 months, check it, after 6 months, check it, clean it up, that kind of stuff. You've got to continually do work, especially on junipers. Need to really be observant, just keep an eye on them, keep an eye on the wire. Is it cutting in? Is the tree unkept? Do you need to pluck? Do you need to do this, do that, do that? So that's it. Just keep looking at the tree, keep observing what's happening. And then now it's towards the end of summer here in Melbourne, even though it's still warm, you get some warm days, still quite nice. If I do some work on them now, clean them up, I get a nice flush of growth in autumn as well on these Shimpakus as well, so it's good. So by the time winter hits, they look pretty awesome. So that's the reason why I do a bit of work now in late summer, mid to late summer, to get them really refined. So let's get stuck into it. So let's have a look at this little tree first. You can see the pretty awesome Navari that I've got on this side of the tree. I've got some nice gin and shari happening along here, a bit at the back, but it's mainly made up of this one thick branch off to the side that's created this tuft of foliage. It just looks very bushy, it just looks like one big massive foliage, which you're not totally what I'm going for. I want a bit more defined. So firstly, I'm just going to have a quick look, make sure, see how the wiring is and if it needs to come off. No, it's pretty good, but I need to try and probably lower this branch a little. So I'm going to see if I can bend that a little bit. So a little bit of open space now in there. So let's see what the rest is like. I've got a bit of a gin in the back here, which you can't see anymore. So I don't think it's any point having it if you can't see it. So maybe that's one thing we'll have to look at, because there is a couple of gins. You can probably just see that one. That one I might keep, but this one you can't really see because this branch is down here and down and kind of blocking it. So I think I'm going to have to get rid of that one. All right, let's see if we can get this down a bit more now. Yeah, so that's a bit better. Getting a bit further down. That gin was in the way. And now we just look at how our branches are, what's been wide or what hasn't. And I'll just look at cleaning this up a bit. Some dead branches in here, so I'll be getting rid of them. And it's just a matter of repositioning a lot of this branch, and then starting to pluck anything going downwards, sorry. Now I do pluck anything underneath because we're getting rid of the whole branch when I do that. It probably needs a bit more time to grow as well, to fill out a bit more. There's this branch here, probably needs wire. Yeah, some of these shoots have actually gone further than the previous wire, so they'll have to be rewired. So I've got to do that job to get it looking good. Sometimes it's just a matter of just taking the old wire off and just rewiring it with the same piece that's still on there, because it's fine wire. You can actually, even though it's copper and it's fine, it doesn't really harden as much as the thick stuff, the really big stuff. It's actually the small stuff is quite good. So you can almost rewire the same piece of wire and fix up that branch. And you can probably just make out I've created a little pad in there and tried to create another pad in there, which I'll continually work on. But there's a little bit of foliage in the back we'll have to clean up. But starting out, first branch, we're just trying to clean up a lot of that foliage, make it nice and clean lines underneath as much as we can, and then start to really work on all the inside bits. But yeah, start with the lowest branch and keep going. Now I do use my scissors just to cut back the branches. Now I cut back the branches just like in my other videos with normal junipers or juniper procumbent, the same process. If something's too long, I come in and cut it back at the stem and take the stem out. Don't pluck these needles, twist them, cut off like shears or something like that. Don't do that, because it just browns off the entire thing. If you come in with the scissors and cut the little stem part, only that little stem part gets a little browned off, not all the foliage if you try and do it in this case. So very important. Now one thing with this tree that I'm trying to change is the lowest branch isn't the widest in this case. I really wanted to have a wider tree coming back this way. So I'm getting this branch here that was kind of towards the back. I'm dropping it so it's under the gin. Now the gin is out above it. So I'm just trying to make this a longer looking branch in here to give it more width on this side, so I can have a bit more foliage on here without this being protruding too much out that way and not giving the right symmetry. So that's one little step that I've changed, but I think I'm gonna have to wire a lot of this out to get it looking good. Now one trick I want to show you, probably haven't shown you before, but this branch, I'm going to wire this branch up. So I've already placed the wire on it, but can you see how there's not much foliage on this side? On this side of that, if I just wire the branch like that, there's actually not much foliage on that side. But if on this side, if I can twist it around, there's much more foliage and it's nicely sitting up. So this is where I use the wire and I bend the branch around as I wire. And what that does, it inverts the branch. But so I'm wiring this way and I'm bending the branch the same way so that I can actually turn it right around. And so it should come up in the right position as long as I can get all the foliage out of the way. So I've been able to just slightly, when I wired the branch this way, wired the wire that way, I've twisted the branch this way. Now all that foliage is sitting on the top side. So I have less things to pluck on the bottom side. I hope that makes sense. But now it's much easier. There's only a few things I need to pluck off the bottom, and the healthier, strong foliage is at the top, which makes it more look like a nice pad we can work with. So now in a way, it's almost nice one fuller pad, more depth, more interest on this side, more longer. So that's what I was trying to go for. Still needs time to fill out a little bit, especially in this area, but it should start to look really good in the next season, I reckon. Now we work to the rest of the tree. We've set the lower branches, now we set everything else as we go up. And of course, like all trees, a lot of the top is where the energy goes. A lot of the foliage is grown at the top, looks really nice and lush, but it's way too overgrown, way too thick. Can't even see some of the gin work that I've got in here. So we need to start to reduce a lot of this area. And this is where I should start to use scissors and cut back a lot of the strong growth and get it looking refined. So hopefully we can get that nicely worked out. So after quite a bit of work, cleaning up the foliage, cleaning underneath, trimming up, reducing a lot of the heaviness and defining all the pads, I had to do some fine wiring. There's a lot of new branches that grew that I had to wire and put in place, but lovely cleanup. I think the lines are much nicer. You can see the apex is nice and full still, without going too crazy. Nice foliage from any side you look at. I probably should have tackled this tree maybe a few months ago. Got maybe a bit too overgrown too quickly. But now I like the new the new look, the cleaned up lines, etc. I'd love to get it in a smaller pot, but the width of this Nabari is huge. I mean, this is the smallest width I can have in a pot anyway. Maybe an oval, maybe a round pot, something like that, maybe a small round drum pot. It's a pretty good pot for it now, because the trunk's quite heavy and the Nabari is quite heavy, so it's still okay in this pot. But the foliage, really nice, come up, real a treat. I really like it. The deadwood looks quite natural. Might want to tweak that in the future sometime as well, but all about the foliage and the levels, like how I always do with my trees. Nothing different from the Shimpaku. All right, let's move on to the next tree. So I'm going to go through the same process as I did before with the other tree, just clean up all the underneath, start at the bottom, position wires back to where I think they should be. This tree, I probably need to look at the wire a bit more closely to see if it's cutting in. It's a slightly taller tree than the other one, and I think it's grown a lot more than what I had originally. So I'm thinking maybe the wire could be cutting in, so I do have to look at it. But really, all in all, same process. So I just want to see if I like this tree as it is. It's a bit interesting, but I think for me, this lower branch has to come lower. I want to try and get it much lower now. The wire looks like it's still there, all okay, but I want to bring it right down now. I don't know what happened, maybe it sprung back, but I want to try and see if I can encourage it to be a lower branch. So just a quick change like that really helps the tree a lot. But then by doing that one, I need to work on everything else, getting it back into alignment and position on everything. So I'll start with the first one, wire it down and start cleaning up. All right, so here's the tree pretty much after I've done all the cleanup. Again, trying to clean underneath, trying to define the pads more. Very simple sort of process, just repeat. When you get to the top, it was quite heavy, so I had to reduce quite a bit in the top. It's not as defined as the other tree. This tree is probably a year or two behind the other tree in terms of foliage pad development and so on. So it just needs a bit more time, a bit more development, a bit more growth to really start to get that nice, puffy, full foliage that we saw on the other tree. It's not too bad. It's got a bit too much width at the back still, but we'll work on that to get it reduced slightly. But it's come up much better than before. So these two trees is all about juniper maintenance. Now, you've got to keep maintaining your trees. Like, I'm probably left these two a little bit too long, but it wasn't too bad. Not a huge setback, a little bit of a setback, but if you are continually cleaning underneath, cleaning the tree every couple of months, doing that work, you're going to have a much more refined tree. This tree I should be doing every couple of months, just cleaning underneath, cleaning anything that's growing too much out of the periphery of the tree, and seeing how the tree develops. Again, really nice big Nabari here, very small, nice little Japanese pot. It actually suits it. I think it suits it. It's nice. It's got some nice shari up the trunk. I might have to develop that a bit more in the future and clean it up, but that's about it. Now this tree just is let to sit and recover, just like the other tree, and pretty much that's it. Anyway, guys, just keep working on the trees, keep maintaining them, and they'll turn out to be awesome. See you guys for next time.